Recording of 12 lead ECG. But before performing a 12 lead ECG, first we will have a quick recap over a few things. So what is electrocardiogram? That is ECG. It is a record of electrical activity of the heart tissue. And electrocardiography is the procedure of reading ECG with the help of electrocardiograph. So electrocardiograph is your ECG machine, and electrocardiogram, that is the record, is your ECG. And electrocardiography is the procedure of recording the ECG. Okay, so these terms are quite essential. So in this picture you can clearly see the apparatus, that is the electrocardiograph. So what all you need electrocardiograph, obviously, a patient cable with leads, subject, electrodes and cardiac jelly, and examination couch. So in this lab, and today we will see the demonstration over this apparatus. And cardiac jelly that we have talked about just now is nothing but the conducting paste which contains very fine particles of sand or glass. So when these are rubbed on the skin, it produces erythema locally, and therefore electrical activities can be picked up nicely. And this ECG coupler consists of on and off control, lead selector. You can see the lead selector. Let me zoom in. Over here you can see this blue light is 1, 2, 3, lead 3, then AVR, AVL, AVF, and then V, unipolar leads. Okay, and push button marked cal 1 millivolt for checking the calibration, and an input socket. Here let me zoom in. You can see the cables which are designated as RF and RA, V, LA, LF. So these are the cables which shows the calibration, and you can place the leads according to this: left arm, left foot, right arm, right foot, and the unipolar lead. So these leads are placed accordingly. You can see on the subject both the legs and both the arms. So let me tell you first what are the uses of ECG. This is the most commonly asked question during your Viva. So ECG provides very useful information about the following. First is the position of heart in the chest. Second is the relative size of the cardiac chambers and cardiac muscle, and obviously heart rate, rhythm and conduction of the cardiac impulse, and type of conduction block if any present, and origin of the new rhythm centers which are also known as extrasystole and arrhythmias, site and duration and extent of ischemic damage to the myocardium, and effect of electrolyte disturbances and of drugs. So these are the uses of ECG. So why do we perform ECG? To avail the useful information, these informations. So let me show you the demonstration first. So these are the leads, this is the cable. So we have placed the leads. First we have asked the subject to remove all the metallic belongings like belt or any bracelet or coins, any metallic things that he has, and he has removed all the metallic stuff, and he is asked to lay supine and relaxed on the couch. Then we place the leads accordingly, which are marked as on the cable here. Now we start, this is our ECG coupler, and you can see we have already calibrated it. And now we will perform the ECG. So first we will record the normal recording, and now as you can see, lead 1 is recorded, and now we will record the lead 3. Now lead 3 is being recorded. We are recording at least 3 complexes. Now AVR, first we recorded lead 1, lead 2, lead 3, then AVR, then AVL and AVF. So we have recorded the bipolar leads. Now we are proceeding to the unipolar. Actually bipolar and augmented. Now we are recording for the unipolar leads. We have placed the cardiac jelly over the subject on the sides V1, V2, V3, V4, V5 and V6. So first we are recording V1. So V1 is in the right fourth intercostal space just near the sternum, and lead V2 which we are recording right now is in the left fourth intercostal space just near the sternum. So V1 was on the right fourth intercostal space and V2 is on the left fourth intercostal space just near the sternum. Now we are recording V3. You know how to count the intercostal spaces. So lead V3 is halfway between V2 and V4. Where is the V4? Now I have placed the V4 which is in the left fifth intercostal space at mid clavicular line. So left fifth intercostal space at mid clavicular line. So V4 is also recorded. Now we will place V5. V5 in the left fifth intercostal space at the anterior axillary line. So you can see anterior axillary line. So this is V5. Now we will do V6 recording. V6 is in the left fifth intercostal space at mid axillary line. So this is our V6. So you can see the recording: lead 1, lead 2, lead 3, and augmented leads, AVR, AVL and AVF recordings that we have just recorded. And this is V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, V6. I have just told you the unipolar chest leads. You know what are bipolar leads? Those were the standard leads used by the Einthoven, augmented ones. So we ask the subject to lie supine on the bed or on the couch comfortably, and instrument is satisfactorily earthed. Now we rub the cardiac jelly. Before applying leads, before placing the leads, we apply cardiac jelly over everywhere, not just on the chest but on the limbs also. So we rub the cardiac jelly and then apply firmly the limb leads marked as RA, right arm, left arm and right leg, left leg to the respective limbs with the help of rubber straps. Now we adjust the speed of the chart paper. We have seen that speed button also, right? So speed of the chart paper is 25 mm per second, and obtain a record of calibration such that 1 millivolt inputs gives 10 mm vertical deflection of the stylus on the chart paper. And adjust the lead selector knob so as to record the activity in the see, first we have placed the limb leads, then we record it in this sequence. First we recorded, as you have just now seen, that first we recorded lead 1, lead 2, lead 3, then AVR, AVL and AVF in that order only. Okay, then we apply the chest electrodes at the appropriate position on the chest after applying the cardiac jelly. So you just saw that we had applied the cardiac jelly over the sides, and then we recorded the chest leads V1 to V6 in that order, and then we label the appropriate strip of the chart paper according to the leads recorded. So this is a procedure that we just followed. So here are the few precautions that you must take. So ensure that the recorded voltage is available at the mains and instrument is satisfactorily earthed, and the subject should be comfortable and should not wear any magnetic or metallic article which might interfere with the electric signals of the low voltage. So I just mentioned that I asked our subject to remove any belt or bracelet or coins or whatever metallic belongings he had, and ensure all the leads are in good and firm contact with the body surface. You must obtain record of calibration before the actual ECG record is taken, and record the activity in 12 leads in a proper sequence: 1, 2, 3, AVR, AVL, AVF, then V1 to V6, and label the record accordingly. Use the right leg to ground the subject in order to eliminate 50 Hz interference. So these are the few precautions that you must keep in mind. First, we'll have a quick recap. You know what is Einthoven law? It states that the electrocardiogram for standard limb leads, the potential of any wave or complex in lead 2 is equal to the sum of the potentials of lead 1 and 3. See, you have studied all this in your theory lecture, but I will just having a quick recap. An Einthoven triangle, you know that imaginary, this is an imaginary equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangles means 3 arms are equal. And triangle on the chest with the points representing the standard bipolar limb leads on the right and left arms and left leg. Electrocardiogram is a recording of electrical activity of the heart from the electrodes placed on the surface of the skin. So you can see in this figure the Einthoven triangle. So what is the principle of ECG? This is also a commonly asked question during your Viva. So actually a body is the volume conductor, that is body fluids are good conductor of electricity. Fluids are good conductor of electricity, and your body also has fluids which are good conductor of electricity. So therefore electrical changes generated inside the heart with each heartbeat are conducted through the body fluids all over the body and can be picked up by means of electrodes placed at certain definite points on the body surface. So the record of these electrical charges during the cardiac cycle is called electrocardiogram. So this is actually the principle that body is the volume conductor, and electrical changes generated inside the heart with each heartbeat are conducted through the body fluids all over the surface and can be picked up on the surface by electrodes, and that's how the electrocardiogram is recorded. So this is the principle that can be asked in your Viva. And speed of the paper is also commonly asked question. So this is 25 mm per second. So you will see that P, Q, R, S, T. So this is the complex, and there are positive deflections and negative deflections. So what is positive deflection? Any deflection of the record above the baseline is regarded as positive deflection, and below the baseline is negative deflection. And no deflection is isoelectric line. So spread of excitation wave or depolarization towards the electrode gives upward or positive deflection, and away from that electrode is negative deflection or downward deflection. So you can see it here. You can see x and y axis, and x axis is mainly in seconds, time in seconds, and y axis is voltage, millivolts, in millivolts. Okay. Big squares which are the bold lines you can see in this figure. So these small squares, let's focus on that. These small squares are actually on the y axis. These are 0.1 millivolt. 1 mm is equal on the y axis. 1 mm is equals to 0.1 millivolts, and on the x axis 1 mm is equal to 0.04 seconds. Okay. So as you can see, let me zoom in. Let's focus on one square. So as you can see here, okay, so this big square with bold line comprises of 5 small squares, as you can see in this figure. And these 5 small squares, let's take one square. Every square, small square, is 1 mm, 1 mm length and 1 mm breadth. So on the y-axis, that 1 mm is equal to 0.1 millivolt, and on the x-axis, that 1 mm is equals to 0.04 seconds. And you can see the complexes P, Q, R, S, T. We will talk about these also. First we will talk about leads. Conventionally there are 3 leads: standard limb leads, of bipolar leads. These were actually bipolar leads were originally used in Einthoven's triangle. And bipolar recording, both the electrodes are active and one of the active electrode is connected to the negative terminal of ECG and the other to the positive terminal of ECG. Then chest leads, these are unipolar leads. So most commonly there are 6 unipolar chest leads. These are also known as precordial leads, and these are designated as V1 to V6. And the indifferent one is indifferent and the other one is exploring. So indifferent electrode is obtained as described. So in chest electrodes, I told you that there are 6 unipolar chest leads, also known as precordial leads, designated as V1 to V6. कहीं कहीं आप V7, V8, V9 भी पढ़ेंगे, but most commonly V1 to V6 are used. And I already told you the positions of the respective V1 to V6 positions and how you place it. Next one is augmented unipolar limb leads. These include VL, VF, VR, and these are also unipolar limb leads, and one is exploring electrode, the other one is indifferent electrode. Generally augmented unipolar limb leads are designated as AVR, AVL and AVF. So augmented से क्या मतलब है? In augmented leads the size of potential is increased by 50% without any change in the configuration from the non-augmented record. So first we will talk about the P wave. This is of atrial origin and is also called as atrial complex. Normal duration of P wave is 0.08 to 1.1 second, or you can say 2 small squares. So what does a normal P wave indicate? It indicates that impulse is originating normally at the SA node and spreading normally over the atria in usual direction, and there is no defect of conduction. What if the P wave is inverted? Inverted P wave indicates that the SA node fails to initiate impulse and atrial muscles depolarize by impulse originating in the AV node. So this is your P wave. Talk about the QRST waves. QRST waves combinedly called ventricular complex because these 4 waves are caused by ventricular activity. So available duration of QRST is nearly 0.43 seconds. That of QRS is less than 0.08 to 0.12 seconds. Nearly you can say 2 to 3 small squares. And normal height of the R wave is 1.5 to 2 millivolts, that is 15 to 20 small squares on the y-axis. And QRS are depolarization waves of the ventricles, and T is the repolarization of ventricles. And Q wave in particular is caused by the activity of the septum. Prominent Q wave indicates old infarction and normal duration is less than 0.08 seconds, or you can say less than 2 small squares. R and S waves, R is the most constant and the tallest. It's the first positive deflection during ventricular depolarization. In abnormal conditions of ventricle, the shape, size and duration of RS alter. T wave, I have just said that it is a repolarization wave of the ventricle. Its average duration is 0.27 seconds, that is 5 to 6 small squares. It's normally positive because the apex of the heart repolarizes much earlier than the base of the heart. And this is also asked that depolarizations are normally positive deflection, but this is a repolarization wave. Why is it positive? This is normally positive because the apex of heart repolarizes much earlier than the base of the heart. So abnormalities of the T wave in shape, size, direction, duration and reaction to exercise in leads 1 and 2 are of great prognostic significance because they indicate serious myocardial damage and is often associated with cardiac hypoxia. Myocardial damage or myocardial infarction. So this is of great significance. So this is your T wave. Now U wave, sometimes this is also seen, and it is seen just after the T wave, and this is due to slow repolarization of interventricular conducting system. Now very important, RR interval. I will tell you how to calculate heart rate in the next turn. So RR interval is important, that because if the RR interval in the next successive stages are the same, then they indicate that the ventricle is depolarizing rhythmically. Okay, so it mainly shows the rhythmicity. PR interval, see interval और segment में आप confuse मत होना. Interval means it includes the wave and segment does not include the wave. So PR interval, it is actually, this is the interval from the onset of P to that of QRS. अगर Q wave present नहीं है तो R तक, till that of R. So onset of P till the onset of R. ठीक है, if Q is absent. If Q is present, then from the onset of P till the onset of QRS. So it measures the conduction time of the impulse from SA node to the ventricles. So it measures the conduction time from the impulse from SA node to the ventricles. Normally it varies from 0.13 to 0.16 seconds, nearly 3 to 5 small squares, and should not exceed 0.2 seconds. So we have just seen that it measures the conduction time of the impulse from SA node to ventricle. So if it is longer, a longer interval shows impaired conduction through the bundle. Okay, so variable PR interval in successive stages indicate AV dissociation. What if it is short? अगर ये short है, it means accessory AV pathway is present, hence ventricles depolarize early. Okay, for example in Wolff Parkinson White syndrome, accessory pathway is present. So this interval is shorter. If this is longer, there is some impaired conduction. Okay, so this is very important and this can be asked in Viva, the significance of PR interval. An interval always include wave. Okay, segment does not include wave. Now QT interval measures from the ventricular total electrical activity time. It is measured from the onset of Q wave to the end of T wave. Okay, this is also including wave, right? So it is about 0.36 seconds, less than 10 small squares, and cause of QT prolongation, which is seen in beta blockers usage and ischemia. This is prolonged QT interval. So it measures the total ventricular total electrical activity time. Now we'll talk about ST segment. Okay, so this is measured from the end of S wave to the beginning of T wave. This is not including any wave. Okay, so कहाँ से कहाँ तक? From the end of S wave to the beginning of T wave. Okay, so its cause is this is a conduction pause between ventricular depolarization and repolarization. Normal duration is 0.04 to 0.08 seconds, 1 to 2 small squares. Its elevation or sagging of this segment indicates myocardial damage or hypoxia. This is also asked in your MCQ, that elevation of ST segment indicates myocardial damage or infarction. Okay, classify, this is also asked sometimes, the classify the main abnormalities in ECG. Abnormalities in ECG are broadly of 3 types: heart block, origin of new rhythm centers like extrasystoles and arrhythmias, ischemic myocardial disorders, angina pectoris and myocardial infarcts. And this is also sometimes asked, not usually, but sometimes this can be asked: third degree heart block and what complication it may cause. In this condition, third degree heart block, there is complete interruption of the conduction of the cardiac impulse between atria and ventricle, complete heart block. If it sets in suddenly, then there occurs a delay before ventricles start beating at their own rate, and this might lead to Stokes-Adams syndrome. So what happens in Stokes-Adams syndrome? Ventricles stand still, last for about few seconds, so it's not beating. So systemic blood pressure falls to very low level and blood supply to brain becomes inadequate. So this result in dizziness and fainting. तो syndrome है, तो syndrome, that's why this is causing dizziness and fainting due to this low level supply to the brain. So अभी हमने ST segment की बात की थी. Now we'll talk about J point. J point is a point of no electrical activity. Its elevation as small as 1 mm from its original position is suggestive of ischemia to the myocardial. So this is also sometimes asked, what is the clinical significance of J point? Thank you so much.